Can you be sexist against men? That was some good timing, comedic timing.
I believe that sexism, racism, these general large topics have systemic impact.
Okay.
And because of that, I believe that discrimination can happen to anyone, but these systems that are in place for things like sexism have an oppression factor from the systems that are set in place and people that benefit more versus the other. And so I believe that men can be discriminated against, but I do not believe that women can be sexist towards men.
Can men be sexist towards other men?
I mean, they can be like, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like misandrous towards men.
Well, can women be sexist towards other women?
Yeah, internalized misogyny. Yeah.
Okay, a lot of buzzwords coming here. Before I have anybody respond to that, I'll go around the table. And you also said, I'll just double up on the question, can you be racist towards white people? If you can, just straighten into the mic.
By the very definition you just used.
Well, just go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not really super interested in having a heated back and forth debate on my beliefs on this because they're just my beliefs, and I
could be related to dating somehow. You know, if you were dating.
I mean,
a white guy,
I personally.
If you were dating a white person,
I'm waiting.
It could be related somehow.
I'm waiting.
What if
the sexism question definitely is?
Yeah.
I personally do not use race as a factor of attraction. So like I would date any race. Race is not something that is a yay or a nay. It's just an aspect of someone's person, and I am the kind of person.
So should I just
Can we call it ethnicity? Is that okay? Are we not all just human? Or
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Race and ethnicity are different.
Correct, and we are one race.
Okay.
I can agree with that.
Should I just assume that your answer is no? You cannot be racist against white people. That's
my belief. Yes.
Do you want? Oh, you could have just. So wait.
Yeah.
I mean, in short, yes.
Do you want to just say it yourself, just so I don't want to speak for you?
I mean, I'm agreeing with your point. I don't know why I have to verbatim say it.
Okay. Farah?
Yes, I think you can be sexist against men and racist against white people.
Oh, okay. Why don't look at me that way. What the fuck? Start with, can you be sexist against men? And can you be racist against white people?
The way that, what she's saying, the way that it's supposed to be set up, or my understanding of it, and I'm fine to be corrected on this, but my understanding is that I don't really know that much about sexism as far as like, if they're the exact same just via sex, then okay, but racism, you have to hold the hierarchy in a society because then you benefit from the constructs that were put in the society, so that's the reason why you could be racist. So if you're not benefiting from it, then you couldn't be racist from it. So if those are the same, then I guess by that definition, no, but I would have to do further thought on that.
I would say no, you can't be sexist to men, and yes, you could be racist to a white person.
Wait, so you can't be sexist towards men?
No.
I feel like you just want to be different.
No.
I think it depends where you're at too, right?
And I feel like
I thought she's a based Catholic.
She was.
Until she said that.
Until she said that.
So wait, you can't be sexist towards
these
men.
are even questions.
Well, I guess it depends on where you at, right? So like if you're in Trinidad, you could be racist towards a white person.
Okay, so location matters.
Yes.
Well, I feel, because I've been like, where I'm at, where I stay, there's like people that are like racist to white people.
They probably.
But it seems like you acknowledge that you can be racist towards white people, but I'm trying to delve into the can't be sexist towards men.
I just feel like, I don't know how to explain myself that well. I don't know. I just feel like you can't. Like, don't think so. You know, I don't know how to explain.
How might somebody be sexist towards a woman?
Can I skip?
Skip? You want to skip?
Yeah, I'm getting.
Would
my-
it be
my brain.
would it be easier to do it in Spanish?
It's okay.
No,
Can you say it in Spanish?
I can understand. Yeah.
Oh.
No, can
You,
you?
s- you speak Spanish?
No, not at all. I was gonna wait for her to like do the whole thing in Spanish and then tell her I didn't speak
it's
Spanish.
okay. I'll
I just
skip.
thought that would be
I'll skip.
hilarious.
Never mind.
You can't skip.
I just thought it'd be
You can go.
but it didn't work out.
Or Madison?
Yeah.
That's how you can be
opinion,
sexist towards a
Madison.
woman.
That's how you can be sexist towards Asian.
There we
people.
go.
Asian
Exactly.
women.
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely.
Yes to both.
Yeah.
Yes to both.
For sure.
Yes to both. So, okay, we obviously, clearly, there's a few people who disagree here on both of these. Let's talk it out here. Let's see where we can arrive at.
I have a quick question, maybe to kick it off. When you say, so I understand. I think kind of like your general argument is to say, white people have maybe like institutional or systemic power, and you can't be racist unless you have that power. Okay.
That's what I was saying.
But you could be bigoted.
For sure.
Okay. Morally, is being bigoted and being racist the same?
I don't know.
Into the mic.
I don't know.
Like, are they the equivalent? So if you're bigoted towards somebody or you're racist towards somebody, is
Can
one
you define what you mean by bigoted?
is one worse than the other?
Can you define what the definitions are for
Well, for you, bigoted would just mean you're doing what the white person would be doing to the black person that's racist in reverse, but that can't be racist, so you're calling it bigoted. So that's how I would describe that phenomenon.
But I think that
So, like, let's say, if somebody said the N-word towards a black person, you would consider that racist, right? If a white dude said like the hard R N-word to a
I
black
would
person.
consider him to be racist.
Right. So that would be, so he would be racist. But if the reverse happened and they said like,
Cracker.
yeah, exactly, you would just say that that's bigoted, right?
Well, the thing is that when you, I mean, sure, but I think the difference is that when you call someone a cracker, they could be like, "Oh, you're offending me," but it's not going to stop them from moving forward. Where historically, the other word does.
Yeah, I understand the argument there. But what I'm asking is, are they morally equivalent, or is one worse than the other?
Because I associate racism with violence. For me,
Yeah, but I mean, bigotry could lead to violence.
for sure, but I don't associate them. Like, I don't like it. They might be. That's why I asked you what your definition is.
Yeah,
'cause
well, I
don't
mean,
use
by
that
your
word as
definition,
much.
if somebody was doing the racial thing in reverse, but you can't call it racism because there's no systemic
Right, 'cause the
power.
word.
Right. They could definitely be doing that and have done it for violent reasons.
Right.
So the association's definitely there, right? So as far as a moral equivalency goes, I'm just trying to figure out how is one worse or more immoral than the other one?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's for me that would still be a negative. Yes.
Yeah, but are they equally immoral? Or is one more immoral than the other?
I think it would depend on the action. Like, if you call me the N-word and I call you a cracker, I think yours probably would be more moral than mine.
Maybe
would
should
be.
we say the C word?
Is that
I feel
wrong?
like we got it. I think
No.
the
Yeah,
C
bro, you
word.
can't be racist. You can't be racist
think we should
towards
probably
white
say the
people,
C
bro.
I'm
word.
also white, so.
Right. Well, you can't do that on Twitch.
It might be.
bro.
Might be.
Yeah,
It
no,
might
Okay,
be
my bad, my
TLS.
bad. I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah,
She didn't know.
that's fine.
Might be.
We're gonna pick up on food.
Let's just be careful.
So
Okay.
you talking about food?
Okay.
I was
Ritz.
talking about.
Yeah, so you think that the racism in that point is worse than the bigotry? It's morally worse.
Because of the history that comes with it, I probably would feel that way. Yeah.
But what's interesting about this, and this is why I asked this, for any other action that I can think of, and I've thought about this a lot, if there's any other action which comes up that you just kind of rename the thing, which is the same exact thing as the other thing, you just don't give it the same qualifier, they're always equally immoral. I can't think of a single one that I can make that application to where it's not equally as bad, because we're basically just calling it something else, even though it's exactly the same set of actions. Can you think of any? Like, if, for instance, if a husband cheated and a wife cheated, that's equally bad, right?
I would like to.
But if a woman hurt a dog and a man hurt a dog, that's equally bad, right? But if a white person is racist and a black person is racist, you say bigotry for the black person being racist, that's not equally bad.
I don't think it's not. I think that when someone's being negative, it's already bad. Like, I won't encourage that. But with the history that comes with it, there's just, even like epigenetics, like there's certain like feelings you'll even get that's going to be deeper rooted, and the connotation that comes with it is just going to be more like, for instance, if someone calls me fat, I can decide to give that word meaning, and that can hurt my feelings. Or I could be like, oh, it doesn't really matter. And I feel like when you're white and you get called that, you have the choice of being like, oh, it doesn't really matter. And when you're black, you don't really get that choice.
What prevents you from having that choice?
The way you feel about the word, the history of the word,
Yeah,
the history of the things
the way
that
you
come from the
feel.
word.
The way
Yeah,
you
the
feel is not a
systemic-
choice.
But the way you feel is still going to be affected by what happened.
Yeah, that's true. But isn't how you feel a choice?
It's still going to be affected by what happened.
Yeah, but I don't understand though, because what you said earlier,
Yeah.
just like seconds ago, was it's not really a choice. And I said, why isn't it a choice? You said, because it's how you feel. And I said, isn't how you feel a choice? You say yes.
I mean, the choice, it's not really a choice as far as like the history that already comes with the word. So like, that's already a staple. There wasn't people being murdered based on the C word. There wasn't people being R word based on the C word. There wasn't whole civilizations being wiped out based on the C word, but there was based on the N word.
So
I'm more curious about the sexist thing, though.
Wait, I want to say one thing. Kind of an analogy. I'm not saying I subscribe to this, but I think the argument is more like it's not like one person hitting another. They see it more like if certain races have been subject to like systemic discrimination, they see it more like you've already been hit 10 times, and if one more hit is going to hurt you more than someone who has never been hit, you will be
Yes.
charged differently for
Correct.
that. So I think that's how they...
but how come you don't ascribe to that?
Because I don't know if every single person is like carrying that like historic load. I'm just saying that's the argument.
Right.
is they don't see it
in
as
other
like
words,
equal punches.
so what she's saying, and this is a good point, if somebody came over, let's say, who was not in the United States, let's say for more than like 6 months, right? You would agree with me that that word would have to impact them less than, right?
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah. So I mean, if it does, then does that mean that you can be, or that person, if that particular person, could they be racist to white people?
For sure. For sure, because I mean, depending on where they're
So
they're
black people, so then black people can be racist towards white people.
I never said they couldn't. My statement was that it depends on where they're located. So
Well, they're located here.
Right, but if they're not from here, if they're from Dominican Republic, then them being out here and them being out there is going to be different. So
But they're still black people, right?
Yes.
Okay, well then black people can here be racist to white people.
Not if they're, for me, my understanding of the word racist means that you have the systematic benefit hierarchy. And so that's my understanding of the word
Wait,
racism.
I have a question on that
Wouldn't
really
they
quick.
still be at the
I
bottom
do
of that?
have one question. You're talking about a hierarchy, right? So, for example, let's say when Barack Obama was president, could he have a racist view against a white homeless person? The president of the United States, who's arguably the most powerful person in the world, could he have a racist view on, say, a white homeless person?
So I guess, yeah.
Is that, I don't know if that's a good,
I don't understand.
I don't know.
Well-
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because the person that sits atop the hierarchy is black. Therefore, during his administration, white people could not have been racist against black people, but black people could have been racist against white people because he sat atop the
The
hierarchy.
system was still set up by white people.
Having a black
He's still subscribing
president
to a white
doesn't,
system.
But-
cure the systemic issue.
but I'm asking specifically him as an individual, as
He's
a
still
black.
subscribing to a white system. He's still living by the
As
by
the
words
president of
and
the United
laws.
States,
He's still
who's the most powerful
but
person.
also, and we know that president doesn't make the end. I mean, there's a whole Congress. Like,
And
what
there's
do
a
you
whole
mean?
checks and balances.
do you think a
whole
white
aspect of
homeless
the
person? Do you
system.
think a white homeless person has more
Senate.
power and privilege than
Congress?
a black president of the United States?
I think in some people's eyes, yeah, which is
A
unfortunate.
white homeless person.
I think that's why
Has more?
that's racism. Like, there's
Whose
gonna be people,
eyes?
Yeah.
many KKK people are gonna appreciate the white homeless person over the
The
president.
KKK have no power in this country whatsoever.
Yeah, but that
I'm
would
just
be
talking
the
about
same,
racism, but that's
yeah,
racism.
Okay, well that's
But
like
those
me
are
Okay,
the
saying-
well,
same
they don't have
people.
power though.
Yeah, okay,
So
but-
by your definition,
But they do have power.
the KKK have
People within the
influence.
administration for sure do.
Hey Nick, can you pull up the podcast?
That would be like
folder?
saying though that if there was a white president and the Black Panthers didn't like it, it's the same argument.
But Black Panthers are not the same, even close to the same kind of group as the KKK. We'll
Yeah,
not make
no,
that
I'm
association
not.
at all.
I'm not,
Privilege folder in the
I'm not even
podcast
disputing
folder.
that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
historically, factually true. You're right about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it's still the same argument to say the
Hold on.
reason that we would value this more still is because there's some people in society who would still value the white bum more than the black president.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
would
like,
be.
okay, but that's going to be true the opposite way too.